I am a big fan of Star Wars, so at some point I was gonna have to comment on this in a way that is not just a passing comment on a live stream. So, classically, Abby decided to give me my opportunity to talk about Gina Carano and what happened with her. So let's go ahead and take a look at her video. Let's dive right in. But if you haven't subscribed already, maybe you should do that. Just food for thought. Okay. Abby, please lay wisdom on me.
And welcome to today's episode of The Scoop. If
Okay.
you are new to my channel, The Scoop is our opportunity to chat, go over what...
You are very low. I need to fix that. Hey, okay, hold on. You, volume mixer. Let's do that.
went on over the course of the week and act as if we're grabbing a cup of coffee together. I love having this opportunity every single week to talk to you guys about kind of what's going on in my life and hearing what's going on with your life. So make sure to let me know in the comments below what you've been up to. Here on my channel, we talk about commentary, beauty, fashion, lifestyle, and opera, all from a classic and conservative perspective.
So she and I'm gonna fix the audio. Don't worry. I'm actively working on that. For some reason, it was way too low. I think I've got it fixed. But so she says that she tackles all those things from a conservative's perspective, and at least that's true. But here's the thing: maybe when you're dealing with the liberal arts, the conservative perspective isn't what's required there. But you know, we haven't really gotten anything of substance. Let's go ahead and continue. That's just filler so that I can get the audio fixed.
If you would like to join the classic crew, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to see all of my videos on all of those topics. So I'm really excited to jump into today's video. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or soda or water or whatever else it is that
It's soda. Just get it on.
you're drinking, and let's get into it. I'm feeling kind of goofy today. I feel like I'm on the verge of laughing, which is... does that ever happen to anyone else where you're...
I think that happens to literally everyone at some point. I do not think that is a unique thing.
You're talking and it's just like something's building up in your chest and you feel like you have to start laughing, and I kind of feel like you can hear it in someone's voice, like if you're on the phone with someone and it feels like they're holding back a laugh or they're smiling, like you can hear it. That's where I'm at right now, and I don't know why, but that's where I'm at. I'm feeling goofy, so we'll see how this video goes. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is my hair. I tried...
What? But the video title is about Gina Carano. Why are we talking about your hair?
to do hot rollers today. Normally when I do hot rollers, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but I don't rollers because of an Instagram influencer named Mary Orton.
I'm gonna find where you start talking about the topic, Abby.
But that's where I'm at. Have you ever used hot rollers? And if you have, what was your experience?
Oh, I see what you're doing. No, what she just did is this is a standard YouTube thing. I understand what this is. This is trying to get engagement on your video by making people pause the video, go to the comment section, and comment. It's actually a really legitimate strategy. I don't like this because, like, hair rollers weren't part of the title of the video. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about Star Wars, personally, but I guess I'll go ahead and use this as an opportunity. What do you think about randomly pausing the video and going into the comment section and saying stuff? Let me know in the comment section. I'll use this opportunity to piggyback off of her strategy. Why not? Just, come on, Abby, let's go.
Let me know in the comments below. The next thing I want to talk about today is something that's been going crazy in the news, which is Gina Carano.
Yep.
Gina Carano was on The Mandalorian, and I use the word was because she was fired because of something
She was not fired. That is not how this works. But I'll let you continue for a little bit, but I'll contextualize that.
Posted on her Instagram story, which said, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?
So it depends. There's a difference here. So, first of all, Abby, political views are not vacuous. There's a political view called Nazism. And if somebody is a Nazi, I feel perfectly fine hating them for their political views. Secondly, there's more to this statement than just saying, wow, you just hate me because of my political views. One, like I said, political views have substance. There's things entailed by them. There's political positions about things like, who should we be incarcerating, for instance? Who should be punished for X, Y, and Z? Who should be beaten in the streets? Should we seize the means of production? Any of these are political opinions, and they are not vapid, vacuous statements that just merely make up a small facet of one's personality and can be disregarded. Political statements have weight. Political opinions have weight. It's perfectly valid to dislike somebody because they're political opinions. Because you know what? If you're in the LGBTQ community, for instance, and you dislike somebody for their political opinion on the LGBTQ community, like they don't like you, they say that you should burn in hell, that is both a religious and a political statement. And you could say, oh, you just hate me because of politics. You just hate me because of my religion. Well, no. I dislike you because you think that I, as a person, do not deserve to exist. That's the angle that you take there. Because, again, political statements are not vapid or vacuous. The other thing, Abby, there's something else that was said during that statement. The whole history is edited thing. Now, it can be taken for granted that history is generally edited by the victors. History is generally skewed in the favor of one person or another. But when you say the statement, history is edited, and then you bring in the Holocaust as your next statement, these two things together create a very strange pairing. We have a big issue, especially in online discourse, with Holocaust denialism. This is from like your Nick Fuentes camp of people, where they say that there's no way that 6 million people died. The math just doesn't work out. I don't think the Holocaust happened. They use tiny bits of data to then say that the whole thing didn't happen. And then the next step after Holocaust denialism is, wait a minute, maybe they're trying to engage in a persecution complex. Maybe the Jews are responsible for all these horrible things in the world, and then you land back in the exact same place that we were in Nazi Germany. So there's more to this statement than just conservatives are like the Jews. The same things are not happening to conservatives as were happening to the Jews. That's just a falsehood. And there's more loaded into this statement than that just a mere point of fact. But we'll go ahead and continue your video. You may have a point. You may change my mind.
Because of this Instagram post, which as a Jew, I will say, not offended by it. I don't love Holocaust comparisons because I just don't think there's enough context. But was this a horrible thing to say? No.
I think I just explained. The wording of it it butts up close to Holocaust denialism when you put the history is edited and then Holocaust anything in the same statement. When you put those things together, you automatically create a loaded statement. Moreover, again, the mere political opinion fact, that's part of this conversation as well. It doesn't matter if you personally, like as a singular individual, who, might I add, are a very privileged individual based on where you are, that mere anecdote doesn't mean a whole lot here.
Depending on the situation, I just don't think it's useful, but it's not a terrible thing to say, and she's not a bad person for writing it, and she's
not a bad person for writing that specifically, but we'll get into some other stuff.
Deserve to lose her job.
Okay, so she didn't lose her job. Let's get a couple things straight here. This is the point where I have to add context to this, because as I do have friends who work in the film industry, also, love this freeze frame, perfect. Didn't realize we'd be getting one that good this early in the video. But, you know, sometimes life gives you lemons and sometimes it gives you Abby Shapiro. But, that said, here's where I might need to give a little bit of context to what happened with Gina. She did not get fired off of a set. What she was in show business is called between contracts. She had a contract that ended in season 2. Now, there was a chance, season 2 of The Mandalorian, there was a chance that she could have gotten another contract to work on season 3. That's how contracting works. As an example, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, And you were wondering why Shane lasted until the second season of that show, when in the comic book he died like 6 pages in. The reason for that is that in the show, the actor who played Shane had signed a contract for 2 seasons. Because of this, he needed to be on the show for at least 2 seasons before they could write his character off, and then, spoiler alert, that is when his character died. That had to do with his contracting. Gina was in between contracts. Her contract ended for season 2. When you are between contracts, you are told to be very careful with what you do on social media. Because public perception doesn't just reflect on you, it reflects on the company that you are working for. In this case, Disney. If you are between contracts, the general rule of thumb is to please be on your best behavior, because if there is a chance that you're going to be written into the 3rd season of a show, the next season of a show, that is completely on you to be on your best behavior, at least until that contract is written, right? Before any of this even happened, though, Gina had already been writing things about COVID. She'd been writing things about trans people. She'd been doing things like saying that her gender was beep, boop, bop, and then telling other people this isn't offensive, when, mind you, it's never on the offender to decide whether or not something they've done is offensive. It's on the person who they have argued that to. For instance, I, as a white person, could not put on blackface and say, no, this is offensive. Look at the context in which I'm doing it. No, that's not up for me to decide. It's never been up for me to decide. It is up to the marginalized group to decide if you are insulting the marginalized group. As with any insult, only the insulted person gets to determine whether or not they felt insulted. Gina had already been doing all that, and from what I understand, she had been warned because of this to be on her best behavior at going into season 2, or going into season 3. And instead of being on her best behavior, she decided to do that. She decided to post a very politically charged message, which was filled with falsities, and moreover, again, because of the way she worded it, got very close to Holocaust denialism. Now, if you're a company, you've got 2 options here. You can either run defense for this person as much as you can, or you can go, we told you not to do this, and yet you went and did it anyway. It's not hard when you're between contracts to just not go on social media. With any job that anybody has, it's not difficult to just not post if you know that something's going to get you fired, depending on the context of what it is. Again, Gina, though, did not get fired. She did her contract up to season 2, and then was waiting on a new contract for season 3. That's not getting fired. Getting fired would have been if Disney had broken contract with her. But that's not what happened. She wasn't promised a renewal, and then she ultimately didn't get a renewal. And it was because of her own actions. And everybody that's saying that, oh, this means that she's been canceled, the left has gone too far. Really? Disney could have just not done that. It wasn't people on social media saying one thing or another that leads to that decision. It's Disney looking at that and going, maybe we shouldn't bring this person in again. Disney has more power than a bunch of random catboy emojis on Twitter. But okay. Let's continue her video, see if she says anything else.
But she is a Republican. So if you say something...
Wait, are you going to say that she got fired, in quote, because she's a Republican? Because they knew she was a Republican before they signed her on for season 2.
Something that the left can call you out for, even for no reason, then...
There were reasons, though. I just explained them.
They will, and you'll get canceled. What's interesting is that the main star of The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, posted his own Holocaust comparison just 2-ish years ago, where he shared a tweet.
2 years ago. Not the same thing as posting while between contracts. Abby, you have to really dig and reach for that one.
Tweet that said, #ThisIsAmerica, with a picture of Jews in the concentration camps in Germany in 1948. And underneath it, he showed...
You're gonna say kids in ICE camps, right?
America 2018 with a picture of children in cages.
Yeah, that one's actually okay. So, do you see the do you not see the difference here? Children being put in cages at the border is very different than Republicans can't say racist shit online. Those are not the same thing. Like, you can engage in tu quoque all you want, but that doesn't work here. The context of the previous statement does not have the connotations of Holocaust denialism in it, and it doesn't have the absurd notions of conservatives being beat by people for their opinions. Whereas what Pedro, who is the actor who plays Din, Mando, Mandalorian, when he posts that, he's literally taking an actual camp where actual people are actually being kept and using that. Can you not see how these are different and how a media company who's responsible for your contracts might see these things differently? And moreover, you need to remember that when it comes to Gina, she posted between contracts. I don't know how many times I have to hammer this in. She posted something inappropriate between contracts when she was waiting for renewal. Disney's not going to go and look at your old ass tweets and then go, oh shit, maybe we should fire you from the show, or however we're going to word it, after looking at your old ass tweets. That's not what's going to happen. There's a difference here. There's a difference in the context of the statements. There's a difference in the timing of the statements. These are not the same thing. You can't just sit here and pull this random shit and expect it to work, but don't worry. I'm sure there's at least, 2 people in your audience who think this is good? Why don't we check the ratio on this video? Just out of curiosity. Ooh. That's not good. Not that argument about populum says you're right or wrong. I think you're wrong for other reasons.
Pedro Pascal still has his job. He made a Holocaust reference. Why was he allowed to do it, and why is Gina Carano not allowed to do it?
You're divorcing everything from the context. You're gonna tell us that it's because she's a Republican, I'm sure. That's not the reason.
Well, it's because he's on the left and she's on the right.
No, that's not how that works.
That's literally what it comes down to.
No, it comes down to context, Abby. It comes down to context. This isn't difficult.
If you're on the right and they can cancel you, they will cancel you.
Do you not think that leftists get canceled too? Dude, I've been canceled. This didn't work. Contra got canceled. It just didn't work. Fucking what? How many times has Vosh been canceled? Oh, and by the way, it didn't work for Gina either, because now she's got a directing position with Ben Shapiro, your brother. Oh, that's why you're making this.
If you're on the left and they can cancel you, why would they?
But it happens to us leftists all the time. In-groups on the left always cancel each other. That's a thing that happens all the time, Abby. You don't realize that, do you? You have awkwardly full lips here. This is a very weird freeze frame. I feel awkward staring at this. I'm gonna hit the button.
So Carano was fired from her job at The Mandalorian.
She wasn't fired. She was between contracts. You can't get fired for a job you don't currently have.
She was literally let go from her job, and it's unacceptable. If you're on the right and you say absolutely anything that they can pick apart and cancel you for, it will happen.
So, are you saying that Twitter leftists run Disney? Because for this position to make sense, Twitter leftists would have to run Disney. And yeah, she just called her Corona. That's kind of funny.
Which is why we shouldn't allow anyone to be canceled, right or left, because...
No, definitely. Shouldn't have canceled Hitler.
Because once it comes for all of the right, it will come for the left too.
It's been happening to the left for years. It already happens here. Ignoring the fact that what you've just engaged in is a slippery slope fallacy and doesn't actually function within the context of the situation. Again, it doesn't matter. It already happens to people on the left. All the time. All the time!
It's never going to stop with the person that you want to cancel, because eventually the left will say that people who aren't far enough left will also be able to be canceled, and it comes from...
That already it happens to far leftists, it happens to people that are liberals, it happens to everybody, Abby. It's not some, like, monolithic world where the left has to destroy everything on the right, and then slowly it turns into an Ouroboros. Leftists infight enough. We already do this shit to each other.
For everyone. What's ridiculous about this, of course, is that Disney is also the same company that wrote in the credits of Mulan, "Thank you to the Chinese government that is forcibly sterilizing Uyghur women and putting them in concentration camps." So Disney clearly...
That's whataboutism as well. Like, yes, that's horrible. Yes, Disney's a terrible corporation. Maybe you should do something about terrible corporations that are allowed to engage in shit like that. Maybe you should do something about, I don't know, conservative values that lead to organizations gaining the amount of power that they have. Maybe some leftist policies could do something to solve the problem of corporations getting so big that they're able to just celebrate other governments, genociding their own people. Maybe that's a thing that can be done. But in any case, it is fallacious to tu quoque Disney in this particular case.
Does not have an issue with creating a Holocaust, but they have an issue with anyone on the right saying absolutely anything. So
that's not how things work. I don't need to explain this more, I don't think.
Disney really stands for absolutely nothing.
Correct. They are a faceless corporation. They have no values except for monetary ones. That's a problem. I agree.
And it's ridiculous to think about. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments.
Okay, so I've given you my thoughts, and I know you're going to move into the next topic, but I'm not here for that next topic. I was here to talk about Star Wars. I wanted to talk about lightsabers. I wanted to talk about blasters. I wanted to talk about the best model of the X-Wing. I wanted to talk about the weird racialization of Mace Windu in the extended universe, where he goes on to... He, as one of the few black Jedi, has to go onto a jungle planet where his people hail from, where they call everybody Dosholo, which translates to brother. Maybe I should start a conversation about how weird and racialized that is, but I'm not going to do that right now. My love of the Star Wars Extended Universe aside, Abby, I don't know if you're ever going to see this video. In fact, I'm almost 100% certain you will not see this video, like, at all. But maybe, if you did watch it, you can see the difference between getting hired and fired, and being between contracts. You also didn't bring up her previous tweets, which, by the way, when Disney got rid of her, it was within the context, or got rid of her is not really the best word, didn't sign her on again. It was within the context of, you've done these things already, maybe you shouldn't do more of them. But, in any case, what do you think in the comment section? What did you think of Abby's video? How do you think that any of this should have gone down? What's your opinions? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. With all that said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, hit subscribe, go to the description and support my channel any way that you want to, and please hit the bell notification icon so that you can see whenever new videos come out and new streams go live. With all that said, I will end on an ear wiggle. Wuggle, 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 wuggle. Insert end to video tagline here.